How's it going, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're talking about the schedule, the 2021 schedule. Now, to be honest, there's a few changes. It's not completely overhauled as I'm expecting 2022 to be. Everything I expected 2021 to be has been delayed a year, obviously due to the pandemic, everything going on. Everything in the world has basically been delayed a year. So everything that was supposed to come 2021 is coming 2022. And so 2022 is going to be the real major shift in everything with the new car and NASCAR owning a lot of the tracks and everything. But we're starting to see those changes today. Now, the full schedule hasn't been officially released yet. Like, NASCAR has not come out and said, all right, here is every single race, every single date. They're doing this weird thing where they're going, like, hour by hour, letting the tracks announce it. So we'll go through that, but also Jordan Bianchi, who works for The Athletic, had the full-time schedule, barring any last-minute changes. This is what it's going to look like. So we'll go over this a little bit later. I just want to go through some of the specific racetracks that have been added to the circuit and what I think about it. So first off, we have Road America is obviously coming to NASCAR. I think you guys know Road America is one of my favorite road courses in the world, pretty much. I think it fits the NASCAR stock car style very well. That's important because I'm going to talk about COTA in a second for that. And so this is a really good race. 4th of July weekend. So, you know, it's still weird not having that race at Daytona on the 4th of July, but hey, it is going to Road America. I'll take it. So another road course that bring us up to, we have the Roval, we have Sonoma, we have Watkins Glen, and now let's add Road America. Okay, so then we go to COTA, and we have the Circuit of the Americas is now on the circuit. Now, for those of you that watch F1, obviously you know the Circuit of the Americas. My only worry about this is obviously this track was not made for NASCAR specifically. This track had one specific style of racing in mind, which was open wheel racing and even MotoGP a little bit. But this track doesn't really have that stock car kind of feel, but it does have a few elements of, let's say, like a Sonoma. There's a lot of slow speed corners. You have the S section also in the track. A lot of heavy braking zones. So I feel like this race could be good. I feel like it could be very spread out. A lap around this track in a stock car is going to take a pretty long time. There's a lot of corners here, a lot of high speed, a lot of low speed. I don't really know how this is going to play out. I think it's a great road course, and the fact that there's more road courses on the circuit, much better than a crap mile and a half. So I like this move. We just have to see how the race will play out. And so, for example, I think Watkins Glen will still be a better race. I still think maybe Sonoma will be a better race. But this has a lot of characteristics of Sonoma. It's just bigger, it's longer, more corners, but still a lot of characteristics. So COTA is coming. That's May 23rd, 2021. So that replaces one of the Texas race dates. And that's why I said you have to think about it in terms of what is it replacing. It replaces Texas, which is my most hated track on the circuit. You guys know this. I say this all the time. I absolutely despise Texas Motor Speedway. It is the worst racetrack on the circuit. I hope they bulldoze it. I hope either you never go there again or you completely transform it into a different racetrack. That needs to happen over the next 5 years because I absolutely despise that racetrack. Now, that race will be the All-Star race. I don't care. It's not a points race. I don't care. You watch All-Star race. I really don't care. $1 million. Go ahead. Race at Texas. It's going to be a crap race. No one cares. I seriously couldn't care less. Heck with Texas. And Eddie Gossage. Him too. Because he ruined that track. Used to be great. Now it's terrible. Obviously, the car doesn't help. But we want to be positive here because this has been a good day. Let's not think about Texas. That track is crap. Don't even think about it. Okay. So we go back to NASCAR's page. And let's see what else they have announced. So, Brickyard Weekend is going to the road course for the Brickyard, so no more oval, no more, I guess they're still calling it the Brickyard 400, but it's not going to be the Brickyard 400. It's going to be a doubleheader of NASCAR and IndyCar, so that's going to be interesting. Obviously, fans of just motorsports will like that, and so that's going to be kind of cool there. So this makes road course number 6 on the schedule. So we have, obviously, we have COTA, we have Road America, we have Watkins Glen, we have Sonoma, and we have the Roval. So that's 6 road courses on the schedule. When you look at short tracks, that is also going to be 6. 2 Richmond, 2 Bristol, 2 Martinsville. Now, the Bristol one, we're going to get to that in a minute. One of them is a dirt race, so let's say 5, because there's a dirt short track in there, which is going to be very weird. So we're going to have 5 short track races 6 road course races. That makes up for almost, a third of the schedule you had in the restrictor plate races and then everything else. So it's getting better. It's not there yet to where I want it to be, and we're going to get to that in a second when we look at the full schedule. It's getting better. Now, NASCAR is returning to Nashville, as Steve O'Donnell said here, and it will also feature the low downforce package. Now, I find this funny because these guys have tried so hard to go away from the low downforce package, and now they're saying, oh, like, it will feature the low downforce package. Like, yay, we know this is what you wanted. And yet, for their new car, it's not going to be low downforce, most likely. So, like, this is just odd that he's saying this. He knows how to play the fan base, I guess, but this doesn't. NASCAR flip-flops a lot, almost every year, what they want. Low downforce, high downforce, what do we want here, what do we want there? I feel like sometimes they listen to their fans too much, because obviously fans will complain about everything. If it's low downforce, they want downforce. If it's high downforce, they want low downforce. If it's more speed, they want less speed. Less speed, they want. Everyone switches all the time. I think NASCAR is guilty of listening to their fans a little bit too much and not just going with their own vision. But yeah, so NASCAR is going back to Nashville. I don't really know how this race is going to play out. I'm not a big knower of Nashville because I have not been watching Xfinity or Truck or anything recently. But also, those two haven't been at Nashville recently. It was many years ago that NASCAR was at Nashville, so it's going to be an interesting race. Don't really know how it's going to play out. I don't really have any thoughts on this one. It's like, okay, I just hope it doesn't suck. But it really becomes the new car 2022 is going to see what do we have at these type of tracks. So let's head back over to the schedule. So Darlington gets another race. They get 2 races. Michigan loses a race. Darlington gets a second race. I think everyone can agree with that. Michigan is another track that has been ruined due to a poor repave job and a poor car. Like, sometimes you can't blame the track all the time. It's a mixture of things. The car has a lot to do with why Michigan's been poor, but also the track has not aged well. It's been a long time since Michigan's been repaved, and it still sucks. So it just is what it is. If we had a better car, hopefully that Michigan race would be better, but it's not happening. So I think it's good news that Darlington is on the schedule. Will they use high downforce, low downforce? I think they use high downforce this year at Darlington. I don't remember. I think it was high downforce. It should be low downforce, but whatever. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I paid attention to that race, but I didn't watch it fully, so I don't remember exactly if it was low or high. But it doesn't really matter. It's still a better track than Michigan, so we take that. And then also you have a second race date for Atlanta. Now, the weird thing about Atlanta is they still haven't repaved it. Atlanta's gotten to the point where it does have to be repaved. They just have to do a good job with the repaving. So obviously the first few years will probably suck, but if it ages, then it should be fine. It's gotten to that point. The track is actually too rough. It's too bumpy. It's too crazy, especially when they run high downforce there. That just doesn't mix at all. When you run high downforce at Atlanta, it's just stupid. When you run low downforce at Atlanta too, it's fun to drive, but from an entertainment perspective, I think it's the car more than the track. But it's gotten to that point where, like, there's like a prime spot. I would say Chicago, funny enough, Chicago's gone from the schedule, but Chicago was at a good spot in terms of the age of the track for good racing. Atlanta's actually, I think, past that now. They just know that a repave will really hurt them, and so they're just not doing it yet, but we'll see how that goes. But that got the second race date. Atlanta's like a history track. It's very historic. I like that it has 2 race dates, so I approve of that. So that's all the changes that's been announced right now. Let's actually look at one. Let's see. Mostly like it, except the Brickyard 400 being out would replace one of the Richmond races. Yeah, that we're not going to Indianapolis twice, and we're not replacing Richmond, so that's not going to happen. Now, this is what Jordan Bianchi had. This is the same thing, but this picture does have all the races on the same schedule. So let's look over this. It's going to be, obviously, the road course is the Clash race, Dual Daytona, and then Daytona 500. Now, Homestead's been moved right after Daytona. I'm okay with that. 2 races in Florida. You stay in Florida. I don't like what they've done with Homestead and putting it in a meaningless race. There's only 1 race date for Homestead. It's in a very meaningless part of the season. I don't like that. Personally, that's the best mile-and-a-half track in NASCAR, and they just have completely disregarded it. I'm not saying it has to be a championship race like it has been, but it shouldn't have been done what it's been done to. It's a fantastic track, and the fact that it's just so meaningless right now is very upsetting. Part of that has to do with the playoff format, but It is what it is. Then West Coast Swing, very normal. Auto Club will turn into a short track in 2022, so that will be a short track race in 2022, but in 2021 it's still normal Auto Club. Then we go to Atlanta, and then we get to Bristol Dirt. So I haven't mentioned any opinion on this yet on Twitter or nothing. And here's my opinion on Bristol Dirt. It was said that it's due to Fox Sports pressuring NASCAR to do it. This is why I've explained that the TV companies have so much power. When does a race start? It's not up to NASCAR. It's up to the TV guys. Okay, so don't blame NASCAR for when a race starts at 3 o'clock and then it rains. Okay, that's not NASCAR's fault. That's TV. So it's a pure wild card race that gets people to watch for the first year. I think it's gonna be a mess. I don't think it's gonna work. It's going to be kind of stupid, to be honest, but why not? We could just take it off the schedule in 2022, right? When the new car comes in, cool, that was a one-race experiment, take it off now, right? It's just an experiment. I'm okay with NASCAR experimenting. If this becomes a mainstay, I don't think I'm going to like it. Even if the race is... I think we all know the race is going to be entertaining because it's going to be a mess. And for the premier motorsport in America, my whole point is the integrity, the competition, the passion... NASCAR loses integrity year by year by trying some really crazy stuff, and this is one of those things. I'm not going to blame NASCAR because Fox Sports seems to have really pushed for it, and so yeah, I don't approve of it, but if it's for 1 year, I really don't care. Let's do it. Martinsville, Richmond. So here's my biggest issue with the schedule, and this will be fixed in 2022. If we have to move Auto Club a little bit for it to be fixed. And this is going to have to take multiple years. After Richmond, go through the entire schedule until Saturday, September 11th at Richmond. Look at all of those races, right? There's not a single short track. That's 5 months, guys. 5 months without a short track race. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry. That is purely unacceptable. There's only 5 short track races. I'm not calling Bristol Dirt a short track race because obviously that's just weird. So we've taken 1 short track race away from the schedule. So we have 5 short tracks on the schedule. That's the least out of any form of racing other than Daytona and Talladega, which I guess, can you exclude that? Because that's kind of like a different thing. So 5 short track races, 6 road course races. Everything else is a mile or above. And no, Phoenix is not a short track race. I don't count Phoenix as a short track race. That's a mile long, so not necessarily a short track race. That is unacceptable. That over the next few years, obviously Auto Club will change that. Maybe Auto Club gets a second race date depending on how that track races, and the fan support. So hopefully that will turn that up to maybe 7. But there needs to be more. And like I said, if we could take Texas, demolish it, turn into a half mile, I'm okay with that. Or a 3/4 of a mile, I'm okay with that. A lot of fans have been upset with Richmond. I don't think that's Richmond's fault. I think that's a car thing. I do like Richmond as a track. It is a short track. I think just the cars, don't agree with that track at the moment. So that's my biggest issue with the schedule. You're not going to hear any more complaining from me from the schedule. That's the only thing. I personally, specifically this year, because of the playoff format, because of the lack of short tracks, I did not care. From after Talladega until the playoffs started, I can tell you I did not watch a lot of racing this season. And it's just because it's pointless, okay? I'll wait for the playoffs to start to care about the points because we all do this to race for a championship. And then there's no really entertaining races. You have Pocono multiple times. You have New Hampshire. You have, what else? You had Texas in there. You had Michigan twice. You had Kentucky in there. There was a lot of just really crazy stuff. Now, if we look at that schedule, we have Darlington, May 9th. Okay, that's decent or good. Dover, decent. Circuit of the Americas, yes. Coke 600, yeah, pretty good. Sonoma, road course, yes. Forget Texas. Nashville, a new race, so that's going to get me interested. Pocono doubleheader, just forget that. Road America, good race, good track. Atlanta, yes, that's a second race date, replaces Michigan, so that should be pretty interesting. New Hampshire, don't really care. Watkins Glen, yes, another road course. Indy road course, yes, another road course. Michigan, don't care. Daytona, Super Speedway, then Darlington, Richmond. You see how the boring levels have been taken out of that? So 2 races, like we've had 2 years ago. 2 races at Pocono, gone in the summer. 2 races at Michigan, gone in the summer. The Kentucky race, gone in the summer. All those races were just boring races, right? Now what they've done is even though there's no short tracks from that point on, they've really done a good job in implementing a lot of, a new track, two new tracks actually, and then road courses all around. So road course, then mile and a half, then road course, then new track, then boring track, then road course, then normal track, road course, 2 mile track, then super speedway, and then Darlington, Richmond, Bristol, and then the playoff track list is very good. Have no complaints about it. So you could see what they've done in terms of trying to up the entertainment value and get rid of those old tracks. So obviously no more Kentucky, get that nonsense out of there. One less race on Michigan. Poconos turned down just a 1 race weekend, so we don't have to throw up 2 times in the summer. So it's good there. So I like it. We just got to put more short tracks in there and we'll be okay. Everything else from after that summer stretch is pretty much the same. Martinsville is a cutoff race. Roval is a cutoff race. Bristol is a cutoff race. And that's perfect. I don't think, obviously, I want to keep mentioning it. Throw Texas away. That's a perfect playoff format. Obviously, I don't agree with the 4-race thing, but if you wanted, in my opinion, I want a 10-race chase, 10-race consistency, that would be almost perfect. Like, literally no complaints. It's fantastic. Cutoff races right now, fantastic. The level of racing, the difference of tracks, fantastic. So, very happy with that. The only thing I would say starting in 2022 is rotate the championship race. That becomes very difficult in terms of what race date do you take away? Where do you put this? Where do you put that? How do you make the tracks agree with it? But I would like rotating the championship because let's say Kevin Harvick gets the Phoenix every year. There becomes an asterisk thing. Oh, he was really good at Phoenix. He won that race every year. He wins multiple championships, but if it was at a different track, he wouldn't win the championship. So to keep it fair, to have integrity in the sport, you have to rotate that track. So not a certain driver can't dominate it or a certain team can't dominate it or just the same thing happening over and over. Homestead was okay because you had, again, it wasn't a 1-race thing at Homestead for the majority of the playoffs from 2004 to 2013. It was consistency, and then you got to Homestead and, it was still that. So overall, guys, if you had to give me or if I had to rate the schedule out of 10 for what they have to work with at their disposal, I'm not saying, you don't think about new tracks, different tracks that are not on there. What do they have to work with, and how did they organize the schedule? I give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's very close to perfect. I just don't like the fact that there's no short track race for 5 months. The problem is the short track races that are premier are in the playoffs. So they're saving that for later in the season, like Bristol, like Martinsville. Richmond's also in the playoffs. So it's kind of a sacrifice. I wish they would maybe try to separate that Bristol Dirt, Martinsville, Richmond section and spread that out a little bit. But they've not done that for many years, and they've kept it like that, and so that's fine. I'm okay with it. You can keep it that way. So 9 out of 10. It's pretty good, and we'll see what they do in 2022. That's going to be the real year where a lot of these tracks, like for example, in 2022, New Hampshire, which we don't care about right now, could become a really good race because of the car. You guys got to think about that. The car is the number one most important factor in any of this. That'll be coming in 2022. I've been preaching that for years. I'm very excited to see what they do with that car and how it's going to race at a lot of these racetracks. So NASCAR over the past few months, guys, has gained a lot of positive momentum. I am very happy with what they've been doing. This is a much, much better schedule than if you look 3 years ago. Much, much better. I mean, just take a look 3 years ago. It is not even comparable. A lot of road courses here, a lot of variety. They've done a very, very good job. So give credit to NASCAR. They've done a very good job, and we'll see where they go from there. That is all for me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of the schedule. Comment down below. Hit me up on Twitter. Send me tweets. I usually respond more on Twitter. So send me some tweets. What do you think of the schedule? Do you have any opinions? What could they do that maybe I'm not looking at with the tracks that they have? Don't tell me let's go to Nashville Fairgrounds or something. They don't have that yet. They're probably trying to get that, but they don't have that yet. What would you have switched around? I personally wouldn't switch anything around other than Homestead. Maybe putting that in a more meaningful spot. Other than that, I wouldn't switch anything around. I like it. I especially like the summer stretch now. Even though there's no short track, summer stretch is much more entertaining. So I'm gonna end it there. It's been a long video, guys. Take care of yourselves. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. Subscribe if you're new. And Talladega is actually this weekend, so I will definitely be watching. Trust me. I have not watched a lot of the playoffs recently. I did watch Vegas at the end. I was watching that. But I'm very excited for the next two races because of Talladega and the Roval. I might bring back race reviews. Depending on if I could do them, it most likely wouldn't be right after the race. It would be Monday. But I might bring that back if I watch the full race. If I have the opportunity to watch the full race, I'll bring back race reviews for this last part of the season because it's gonna be pretty exciting with guys like I think Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott right on the cutoff line right now. So it's gonna be pretty cool heading into Talladega. Take care of yourselves, enjoy, and peace out.